And so why are you coming forward now?
Because I truly feel that public needs to know what's going on out here.
It doesn't surprise me that Bob followed the typical law enforcement code of silence not to discuss UFOs, for fear of ridicule or even retribution. But now that he's no longer a police officer, he feels compelled to shed light on what he's seen going on around Dugway. And it involves a lot more than just seeing a UFO.
Out in the general area this craft was traveling. I observed two horses that I found. Their heads were decapitated.
Wow. I mean, the heads really are clean up. We're talking with Bob Ward, who witnessed a UFO near Dugway Proving Ground in 2004. And that alone might be enough to show that Dugway is becoming the new Area 51. But the sighting alone wasn't the end of Bob's experiences.
Out in the general area this craft was traveling. We come up to an old sheep corral. I observed two horses. Their heads were decapitated. I got some photos that I took of those mutilated horses. The horses were about 10 to 11 feet apart, laying the same identical way.
As if they were placed there.
Laying in this, exactly. Their heads had almost like laser precision cuts along their jaw bones where the hide had been removed. And I found no traces of blood off either animal.
His story brings me back to what Lee told us about Dugway Proving Ground having no compunctions about using humans and animals as guinea pigs for biological weapons testing during the Cold War. Could Dugway not only be testing advanced craft, but possibly also advanced laser weapons, and using the horses as test subjects?
We do have mountain lions out there. We have badgers, and we do have coyotes. So if small predators and stuff were going to be feeding off these things, you would actually see bite marks and rips tearing apart out of them. These weren't rips, these were precision cuts.
Were there any missing organs?
The eyes were gone, and the lips around the horses were gone too.
Well, the horse mutilations that Bob described seem to fit everything that we've already seen. So it's very interesting that we have a very strange UFO sighting and this very strange mutilation. Well, do you think there's some connection between these mutilations and other activity that's going on around here?
It could be part of extraterrestrial conducting experiments. It could even be part of the Dugway Proving Grounds conducting experiments as well.
The story of what Bob Ward discovered doesn't necessarily prove that Area 51 has moved its operations to Dugway, but it does indicate that advanced aeronautical craft and laser-like technology do have a role here. So our next step is to speak with more witnesses who might have seen advanced laser technology here at Dugway. Alien Dave.
Yep.
Dave.
How's it going?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for coming out to see us today.
Good to see you.
See you again. We're meeting with Dave Rosenfeld, who is a Utah ufologist, and he's had a lot of very unique experiences. It's going to be worth it to see exactly where Dave witnessed these unique events and to hear the stories behind them.
We're at the Dugway Proving Grounds, and right down here is Michael Airfield. This whole area is the military airfield. We are about right here, and we need to go right about here. Now, the only way to get there is really on ATV. You're not going to be driving a car down here because the train's pretty rough.
So you brought some ATVs for us?
Yes, we did.
Our ATV route takes us largely due south towards the border of the southern segment of the Utah Test and Training Range, or UTTR. Now, UTTR is administered by the Air Force, while the Army runs Dugway Proving Ground. However, both these facilities frequently collaborate and host experiments for all the military branches.
As you can see, this is the bombing range. Right over that mountain's where we've seen the test. We were parked right about here, right where we're at. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we see this, what looks like an arc welder off in the distance. Just this huge flashing light. And then this beam shot out the middle of it. It looked reddish in color, actually, and the light coming off the ground was white. There was a little bit of thin clouds above that, and you can see it go through the clouds.
About how long did this beam last?
Probably about 4 minutes.
Wow.
And then it was shut off like a light switch.
How wide was the beam, would you say?
If I was to compare it to something at least as wide as a car.
So we're not talking about a pencil-thin laser beam.
No, not at all.
That's huge for a laser.
There was a slight smell of ozone in the area, kind of a static electricity type of smell.
Well, you think you were smelling the actual laser?
No,
or
we didn't smell it before that, and we didn't smell it after the testing.
We know that during a thunderstorm, ions in the atmosphere can be charged in such a way that they give off this kind of a scent. This is due to a partial electrical breakdown of the air by a high volume of electricity that causes this ozone smell. Now, if this beam was creating that smell, then it must be harnessing millions of watts of power.
That's very interesting. You say that this beam actually was penetrating a cloud because, I mean, normally light can't go through clouds.
The Air Force was experimenting for years with a way to bring down satellites by firing a maser. And then through the maser, that's the tunnel that punches a hole. Then there's a laser through the maser. And that's what this is. Then you were watching one of the most important anti-satellite weapons we have.
Now, did you notice any other activity after the testing of this laser?
The second time it fired, we noticed these blue lights completely surrounding the beam.
On the ground?
In the air. These lights weren't acting like conventional aircraft.
Did they fly in or did they just pop up?
They more or less was just there. And then as soon as that beam stopped, they were gone.
Was this beam a beacon that was meant to attract UFOs? Or did the UFOs sense this was a weapon and arrive to surveil it?
A guy from Fox actually spent a year trying to find out what exactly we've seen out here. He contacted the PR person. First, she denied it. Then she changed her story a little bit and said, well, there was military contractors out there doing some tests. And that was more or less the end of it.
Alien Dave's reporting of a bizarre beam test was met with stonewalling and denial from military officials. But it's not the only strange test he's seen here.
One of the planes just upright disappeared.
Like this thing vanished.
And they were flying in formation right next to each other. You can still see the one, but not the other one.
We've taken ATVs out to the fence line along the boundary of the Utah Test and Training Range. The fence line runs literally as far as the eye can see in a perfect straight line. Our eyewitness Dave Rosenfeld has seen things that are anything but normal.
One night we were out here, and we watched these two jets come by, and you can see the beacon lights on them. And as they got near the fence line over here, one of the planes just upright disappeared. No more lights and no silhouette of the plane at all. And they were flying in formation right next to each other. So you can still see the one, but not the other.
So are we talking about invisibility technology here?
Could be.
Were there any other things you saw that have the same kind of technology, disappearing planes or stuff like that?
Yeah, same year, I think it was in August. We were back out here checking out the location once again, and we noticed this dust trail off in the desert, down in the valley here, and you can see the dust trail, but no vehicle.
How do you know that wasn't a dust devil?
Well, we see dust devils out here all the time, and you know, dust devils don't go 60, 70 miles an hour. And
wow.
So what year was this?
same year, 2004.
There was a lot of activity that year.
Well, yeah, there must have been. That's the same year that Bob Ward saw his UFO in the mutilated horses.
And that's the same year that this whole area, that the Army wanted to expand Dugway Proving Ground.
That's true.
Dave's sighting of this massive laser, Bob's UFO encounter, and his investigation into a nearby horse mutilation. Now I'm starting to believe that these guys really are living next to the new Area 51.
Dave, you've been around here for a long time, and what evidence have you seen that Dugway is the new Area 51?
Well, when the Popular Mechanics article came out saying that they did move Area 51, Dugway's security tripled. I don't believe they moved everything from Area 51 here to Dugway. They've moved projects here. I do believe they still have the Black Project planes down there, but most of the space-related stuff is here in Utah.
Kind of spread your technology around a bit so it's not all in one place, maybe.
I have a funny feeling, given what we saw at Area 51 last year, that there's still a lot of reverse engineering going on there.
So maybe not just Area 51, not just Dugway, but this advanced unconventional technology is spread throughout military facilities around the country.
Why put all your eggs in one basket? Well, guys, this was something. What do you think the evidence tells us?
I don't think we found enough evidence to support that Area 51 actually relocated here. And the high security that's going on here at Dugway is simply because of protecting the technology that's being tested there. It's national security, and essentially nothing has changed besides more testing going on here.
Any facility that's pioneered biological, chemical, and radiological weapons testing would require an incredible amount of security precautions and an enormous amount of restricted airspace. Even if Dugway and UTTR have taken over some experiments from Area 51, there's just no proof that this is reverse engineered alien technology.
I mean, we've been to Area 51, Bill, and it seems to me like a lot of the strange things that are going on there are going on here. You've got this huge beam shooting up into the sky. You've got Bob Ward seeing his strange UFO that has changed his life, including the horse mutilations that he saw that year, massive attempted expansion of Dugway in the same year. Is that all a coincidence as well? We have to really consider that a lot of this technology is reverse engineered from this alien technology that we're trying to get to the root of.
We saw firsthand how Dugway reacts when it feels it's being scrutinized, just like Area 51. The things that really stand out to me in the course of this investigation are private contractors that enjoy unparalleled privacy in their operations. I think the government's UFO tech secrets have shifted to Dugway, and they're here to stay.
It's the same story all the way around. UFOs are still being reverse engineered by private contractors. They've been doing it for 60 years. They're doing it now. And the big picture for me is they're doing it right there at Dugway. They're doing it at a new Area 51. If one of Dugway's goals was to take over the testing and reverse engineering of UFO technology from Area 51, it had all the resources to do so. And nothing we've learned about base security or contractor practices threatens the future of military operations there. And besides, this area has the highest restricted airspace on the entire planet. And if it's not the new Area 51, it will be.
I went from questioning whether people are even seeing things in the sky to knowing that they are, but now questioning what exactly are they seeing. I believe that the majority are top secret black ops military aircraft.
The study of anything that we can't explain is very important. That's how we come to answers and better understand our universe. So we have this phenomenon that is real. Maybe we can learn from these UFOs and create a better world for ourselves.
Along the way, we've seen some incredible photographs, and we've debunked the debunkers, and finally a picture is coming together. A picture of a truth so incredible, so awesome, that it would mean the end of the human race as you know it. That's why the government will go to any lengths to keep that truth from being disclosed, because the truth is bigger than all of us.